If you've spent any time in the garden wondering why your soil just isn't giving plants the power it used to, no matter how much fertilizer you throw at it, you're not alone. Gardeners everywhere are discovering a hard truth: modern store-bought fertilizers often boost plants for a moment, but weaken soil in the long run. On Soil Stories we dig deeper, and today we're uncovering something special, a forgotten formula older than synthetic fertilizers, older than industrial gardening, and possibly more powerful than anything you'll find in a bag at the store. This isn't a magic potion or a viral gardening trick. It's a real science-backed, ancestral-approved formula that restores soil life instead of fighting against it, and once you start using it, your garden may never be the same. Every thriving garden, whether ancient or modern, shares one thing: a living, breathing soil food web. But over decades, gardeners slowly drifted away from feeding the soil, shifting instead to feeding the plant. The lost formula is basically the opposite of what most modern fertilizers try to do. It rebuilds soil from the inside out. This formula is a blend of three core ingredients our ancestors used: instinctively fermented plant materials, mineral-rich ash, and microbe-dense compost liquids. These simple components create a powerhouse of bioavailable nutrients, beneficial microbes, and long-lasting soil structure improvements. The combination doesn't just feed plants, it feeds the ecosystem that feeds plants. But what makes this formula so potent is not the ingredients themselves, it's how they're combined, fermented, and applied. Walk through any garden store and you'll see big numbers on fertilizer bags, NPK ratios promising quick growth. But fast is not the same as healthy. Synthetic fertilizers push plants like energy drinks push the human body, great temporarily, harmful long-term. They don't rebuild soil. They don't feed microbes, they don't regenerate structure. When the soil life dies, plants become dependent on constant feeding, like addicted consumers instead of resilient organisms. But ancient gardeners didn't have chemical pellets, they had to learn how to work with nature. And that's the spirit behind this lost formula. Let's start with the base of the formula: fermented plant extract. This is the ancient equivalent of capturing the essence of strong, healthy plants and delivering it straight into your soil. To make it, you use vigorous, nutrient-dense plants like comfrey, stinging nettle, sweet potato vines, moringa leaves, or even banana stems. These plants naturally accumulate high levels of potassium, calcium, and trace minerals. When they ferment, microbes break down plant tissues and convert nutrients into a form that soil organisms can easily use. The result? A dark, rich, earthy liquid that smells like the forest after rain. This step alone brings a burst of bioavailable nutrients and natural growth hormones into your soil. The key is the fermentation. Fermentation doesn't just preserve nutrients, it unlocks them. The next part of the lost formula was once second nature to gardeners who cooked over fire wood ash. Not charcoal briquettes, not fire pit leftovers soaked in plastic wrappers. Pure, clean, hardwood ash. Wood ash is packed with potassium, calcium, magnesium, and dozens of micronutrients. Our ancestors used ash because it was one of the only readily available mineral sources that the soil instantly absorbed. The magic happens when the ash meets the fermented liquid. The minerals dissolve, creating a nutrient cocktail that plants can use immediately. At the same time, the alkalinity of the ash helps balance acidic soils and encourages microbial diversity. This is where modern fertilizers fall short. They rarely include full-spectrum minerals, and they almost never support long-term soil balance the way natural ash does. If the first two ingredients provide nutrients, this final component provides life. Compost tea isn't just dirty water, it's a carefully brewed microbial solution bursting with bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and beneficial nutrients. What makes compost tea so critical in this formula is its ability to colonize the soil with living organisms. When mixed with fermented extracts and dissolved minerals, the microbes multiply rapidly, creating a living fertilizer no store-bought product can match. This step basically reintroduces the entire soil food web, helping plants build stronger roots, resist disease, and access nutrients locked deep in the soil. Once all three components are combined, you're not just feeding your garden, you're restoring it. Individually, each ingredient is powerful. Combined, they create something almost miraculous. The fermented extract delivers quick nutrients in organic form. The wood ash unlocks essential minerals most fertilizers ignore. The compost tea injects living organisms that carry those nutrients into the soil structure. This synergy is what makes the formula so effective. It's not chemical feeding, it's ecological healing. Instead of pushing plants to grow artificially fast, the formula rebuilds soil health so plants grow naturally, vigorously, and sustainably. And once the soil food web comes alive, everything changes. You'll see stronger stems, deeper roots, improved drought resistance, and an overall boost in plant immunity. This is the difference between a garden that survives and a garden that thrives. To make your own version at home, start by filling a bucket halfway with chopped nutrient-rich plants. Add a handful of brown sugar or molasses, then cover the mixture with water. Let it ferment for 1 to 2 weeks until it stops bubbling. Once strained, mix the fermented liquid with a cup or two of clean wood ash until dissolved. Finally, add a few cups of actively brewed compost tea. At this point, the mixture becomes alive and potent. Always dilute before applying. Usually 1 cup of the solution per gallon of water is enough. Apply it to soil, not leaves, and avoid using it under direct sun. Repeat every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season. The more consistently you use it, the more your soil transforms. This formula builds layers of life, not just quick bursts of growth. On Soil Stories, we celebrate the connection between old wisdom and modern science. This lost formula is the perfect expression of that philosophy. It's practical, inexpensive, regenerative, and strengthening, not just for plants, but for the entire ecosystem beneath them. If you're a gardener who loves experimenting, this is a beautiful process to experience. If you're a beginner, it's simpler than it sounds and incredibly rewarding. If you're experienced, you'll instantly recognize how powerful this approach is compared to synthetic fertilizers. This is gardening the way nature intended: slow, steady, alive, and endlessly generous. We're living in a time when soil is depleted, plants struggle more than they should, and gardeners are constantly searching for the next big solution. But sometimes the answer isn't new. Sometimes it's something ancient we forgot along the way. This lost fertilizer formula brings us back to the roots. Literally. It revives the soil, strengthens plants naturally, and restores the balance that modern gardening often disrupts. If you're ready to give your garden the life it deserves, try this formula. Watch your soil transform. Watch your plants respond with gratitude. And most of all, watch your love for gardening deepen. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to Soil Stories and share this article with fellow gardeners who want to grow not just plants, but healthier soil, richer harvests, and a deeper connection to the earth. Let's bring this ancient wisdom back to life, one garden at a time.